internally, I feel like that's the hardest hire.
Yeah.
Is really finding that ideal candidate that fits our culture, what Prince Carlson's all about. With our clients, it's easy, right? You do that all day, but trying to identify that right profile, like who's going to fit with your team, who's going to be able to, collaborate well with others and just help the business grow. And so a lot of it, Ryan, I kind of go back is referral based, like reaching out, who do you know? And it could be asking your internal recruiters, your internal team, like, do you guys know anyone who might be a fit? Anyone that might be interested that maybe they don't have recruiting or sales experience, but hey, they're coachable. They want to learn. They see the opportunity. And we've brought a lot of people, just kind of employees, where they necessarily didn't have maybe both the recruiting or sales experience. Maybe they had a little bit of it or some exposure, but if they're coachable, willing to learn, dependable on time, like they'll show up, we can teach them the other skill set. I think it's a lot about that outreach of your network and who you know. Because I think, like I said, you can post all day on job boards and, social media, but I think some of the best hires have really just come from our internal employees.
Yeah, love it. And so the way, if you have an established organization with people that have been with you and they're happy and doing well, so within any department, but if I relate it to a sales department, right? So let's say you have 10 sales reps as an example, and 3-4 of them are crushing it. And they're the type of person that you want at your organization. They align with your values. They show up, they do the work, they treat the customers correctly, right? They're the type of people that you want to hire. What's cool about a referral is, their network are going to be people that are more likely to be like them. And therefore, that's why it's kind of a better hire is, if I got this perfect, A player or even, B plus player, their network is going to be really similar to them, which most likely means that we're hiring a good person versus somebody off that's like actively looking for a new opportunity coming through like job ad platforms and stuff like that, right? You can find great hires in that process. Obviously, referrals are going to be better. And so if you have an established organization, you want to be strategic and start leveraging referral opportunities from your team. Absolutely. When, if you're a smaller business and you don't have anybody yet, you're like, man, I'm a solo business owner and I have an admin staff, or, you're just like 1, 2, 3 people. And you're like, I would love to get my, commission-based sales team off the ground, right? You got to start with what you got. Maybe you have network outside of your, maybe you have your own network outside of your company. But if you don't have that from like a sales rep perspective, then you need to go through the process of, building a sales team, right? So when we started our organization, it took a good 1 to 2 years to where, pretty much the majority of our hires would come from internal referrals. So we had to improve our systems, improve our opportunity, get reps successful, improve our brand, all those things. And that compounded over time and made the referral thing a lot easier. If you're a smaller business owner and you're just looking to like start pumping bodies in, you need to pump a little bit more volume and work through the process of your comp, your training, the way that you manage your culture, all those things, get through the process of retaining 3 to 4, 5 plus reps or whatever. And then you can start to like leverage those internal referrals, if that makes sense. When you guys do interviews, do you base your interview questions like around like the bare minimum skill set requirements and the values of the organization? Like, how do you figure out what type of questions that you ask a candidate in a one-on-one?
For internal employees or candidates that we're placing with clients?
Both, if you can answer it, if you want to take one or two of those.
Yeah, for internal employees, I think it depends on maybe which team this candidate is going to kind of work for, maybe kind of under which department and manager. But if they meet, what's kind of nice, Ryan, is we have a lot of leaders here that we really kind of jump in and meet with every candidate that comes through for internal hires. And so it's really getting to know them. I think everyone kind of has their own interview styles, right? I think we all kind of ask the similar questions, but maybe in a different style or different phrase, different way, but really understanding who they are, what their experience is like, what drives them, what motivates them, what are their goals, how do they want to grow, how do they maybe like to be managed. And so just learning about their personality and really finding what drives them and where they're going to be the best fit. I think we kind of know by just who we've hired in the past and what that profile looks like for a successful recruiter here at Prince Carlson.
Yeah.
And so for the candidates that we place with clients, that starts with our intake calls with the clients and our meetings with them. them.
Yeah.
And that goes to understanding what that company is about, their culture, just kind of what their expectations are. And then we kind of use that for our candidate interviews. We have each recruiter on my team, they have kind of their template, the interview questions that they ask, but they're all open-ended questions. Like, let's have that candidate tell us. Like, let's have them tell us about their personality, tell us about their experience. What are their strengths and weaknesses? And so we're clear and we identify the right opportunity for them. Just so for us, we're all about quality over quantity. We're not in the business just throwing resumes at companies. That's not who we are. So
yeah, that's what you guys are known for, is really like super quality recruiting, high retention. You don't have a bunch of attrition in the people that you place into your organizations. And so that's great. And so one of the things that kind of I was thinking of that stuck out when Frankie was explaining that is every opportunity is different, right? So, like an entry level administrative role, as an example, compared to maybe like a really senior level management role, those are going to be completely different conversations. Or maybe like an entry level appointment setting role compared to a high ticket closer role, they're going to be different conversations and questions. There will be a lot of similarities, like things like, hey, what's been missing from past opportunities? What do you want? What your future? What is your goal? What's your ideal opportunity look like? What do you care about in and outside of work, right? You're getting to know those basics about them. There's differences in between type of opportunities. Maybe an entry level person, it's more about like, who are they? What are their values about? For a senior level person, it's like, what are their skills like and what are their values all about? And he also mentioned something that, is super important in terms of building sales teams is like, looking for somebody that's coachable, right? If somebody can align with the type of person, the values that you have as an organization, and they're like super bought into your opportunity and mission and vision and values, and they're excited to show up every single day to work, you should be able to take that person and coach them into the role. That should be the foundation of your like onboarding and training, is taking somebody that loves the opportunity, that's showing up and has the work ethic, be able to train them to see success in the position, especially in commission-based sales, but also entry-level employee opportunities.